Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, let's get it rolling.
Three, two, one. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first and only episode of this year, 2021, the New Normal podcast. I'm Lee, the New Normal, and I'm with Chantelle, the New Normal. And we'll start by talking about how we started this podcast. Chantelle, tell us about when you first heard about the idea of the podcast, what did you think and how it evolved over time?
I mean, from you,
What do you mean?
like
And
when
when
I
you
was
had
like,
the idea to do a podcast, like what did you think? And you had some hesitancy.
yeah, that's why I'm like, because I don't. When I thought of like a podcast, I'm like, I like listening to podcasts. I don't know if I would want to start one myself. I don't know if what I had to say would be valuable enough, or would be something that people would want to listen to. But um, I think that everyone's different. I think that everyone can, put their own opinions out there or whatnot, just be vulnerable and see what happens, see what comes out of it. And if I can connect with other people, or if someone can resonate with something that I say and, changes their day around or how they look at things, then that's cool. And I want to be a part of that.
So what made you change your mind? Was it like somebody said something or like did you watch something or what was
No, I think it's just personal growth. Like lately, for the
it?
past few years, especially being with you, like I think that I'm more aware about like what I want to put out into the world and how I want to be like. And I don't think it's necessarily me always being on the other side of the screen and watching other people. I think that I can be that too. Not that I necessarily want to be like someone that someone else looks up to. I just want to be myself. And if someone resonates with that, like I said earlier, then that's great. Yeah. And
But
it's just
then,
personal growth.
but why do you want to do the podcast? Like, what are you trying to accomplish from it? What you're trying to get from it?
From the podcast.
Yeah, from doing the podcast.
Mm, I
You're
don't know.
trying
Is
to have
this
some
where I'm like,
fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's different. I think it's challenging. I think even just setting this whole thing up with you is challenging. And I'm up for the challenge and I'm up to do something different.
Okay. So for me, it's a very long story. I won't go into all of that. I'll just cut to the end, where I drew the conclusion. And the conclusion is based on two premises. So A is I think YouTube is going to be the biggest platform in 10 years. So I want to be on YouTube. And then B is I think one of the biggest problems humanity is going to face is the reprogramming of the human behavior, because drama and negativity gets the most attention. So naturally, there's the incentive for all the institutions and medias and even individual content creators to create things that they're like clickbaity and negative and drama filled. And over time, that can be good. And I want to be that beacon of hope. Not as not that dramatic, but I want to do what I can, leveraging the most powerful platform I think that's gonna YouTube is gonna become, and try to do something, try to create a community that will promote positivity and genuine human connection rather than just trying to get the most views. And also, by the way, I never thought about this before, but now I think um, a big part of meaning of life is human connection. But I never thought this because I didn't like human interaction. But then recently I realized human interaction and genuine human connections are completely different. This is another like small part of the reason why I want to do this, is because for a lot of people that are different and unique and sort of like out of place, it's very difficult to find similar minded people to have a genuine connection within your local communities, because it's just not as many people. So instead, I want to build something that's, you know, that's international, that help people to connect with each other also.
Such a well thought out answer. I feel like I just totally
No, that's cool. Also, by the way, despite me saying all of that, if you ask me, oh, how are you going to achieve all of that? My answer is, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, that's like a kind of like a, what do you call it? Like an ideal dream scenario. I'm just like, how, if you ask me, how does posting your dog videos do that? How does your, you know, you posting, you eating do that? I don't even know. That's just something that I really like, you know,
yeah.
it's a like an ideal situation, but I'm just doing what I can and keep on adjusting and figure it out along the way too.
Yeah, I think that's just it. Like it depends on everyone's different, so it depends on how the person takes it. Like to someone, like a dog video just makes their day, and you know, they go about it differently than someone who watches a dog video and is just like, oh, okay, like that's interesting, and then sparks some creativity in them. I don't know. But that's why creating different types of content will hit.
Yeah, I'm like my goal at the end is to have a community that promote positivity and human connection. So my goal is not to be famous myself and not to, you know, be able to get all of that done myself. So the ideal situation for me at the end, the angle is, if I stop doing anything, the community just keeps rolling and growing and still help each other. So I'm in the beginning stage. I don't have any help. I don't have any community. So I'm just doing what I can and, you know, what I have, and just, you know, just getting it started.
Yeah. And I think that's why with my answer earlier, I was more looking inwardly and not outwardly, although I would like to make an impact too on like the community and things like that. But I think that one thing is, if I'm doing what I enjoy and other people see that, maybe that they could spark their own like enjoyment in what they do, like themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And not, again, like I don't necessarily want to be like, oh, you know, a leader in that sense, but if I'm doing what I can do, then I hope that could spark something for someone else too.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I came up with a theory a few days ago. It's kind of related to this, but not really. I told this theory on my Mandarin podcast. In case you guys are wondering, yes, I'm multi-talented.
Multilingual.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll tell this to you and then see what you think. So, a few days ago, I was driving alone home, you know, at night,
Mm-hmm.
and I had an epiphany. I was like, so human as a species, we are as one, like we're together, and then the only way we can make it is to consider each other as one and help each other and move forward and all of these things. Then why are we like so individualized? And like, why did God or nature, whatever you want to call it, create human like this? Like to be selfish and to like only think about yourself and fight against each other. And then I came up with a theory. So the theory is, you need diversity of thoughts and diversity of people to progress. So if everybody thinks the same, you know, you're not going to progress. So then you need diversity. But what comes with diversity naturally is disagreement and infighting. And God/nature came out with this solution. Okay, if all of you disagree, how are you going to get each other to understand each other? And the solution is kids. Oh, see, that's deep.
Okay.
So,
But like kids, you're not implying something here, are you?
no, it's like when you have kids, 50% of the kids is something you're familiar with, but the other percent is like essentially a stranger to
Your
you.
other half, yeah.
Yeah, so then like you can on your kids you simultaneously see is somebody that you're familiar with, but they could completely make decisions and have habits and interests that's opposite to you. So it helps you to gain understanding and sympathy toward other humans you could never agree with before and never understood. And it's a sort of um, like a bridge, like you, in order for humanity to have the biggest progress, it needs polar opposite people. But then to connect the polar opposite people, they put God or nature put a common ground, which is kids, as a bridge to bridge between the differences.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Maybe in different forms too, not just kids, because like not everyone has kids, but maybe interests.
Well, even people who adopt kids is like they see like this is someone I love and is someone that I'll give everything for, but on certain days I want to kill them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the opposing emotion existing in one person simultaneously help you. Like if your kids have all these flaws, it helps you to understand all of the other adults you dealt with in the past that you really hated, like who have these flaws that your kids have. It helps you to sympathize with them. Also, it helps you to understand like your impact on your kids and seeing how your kids grow up and learn and make mistakes. Then when you see another fucked up human that's an adult, you wouldn't judge as much. You'd be like, oh shit, like maybe they're fucked up from their childhood. It's not their choice. Like it's not their fault.
I mean, like, isn't that just all relationships? Like, even just like friendships or like romantic relationships, or even just like your relationship with your like parent. Like, it's
But you
just
don't,
knowing.
but you don't have that inherently um, like accepting them no matter what. Like if you're dating someone, you can choose to leave. You're like, no, you're too fucked up. I'm gonna leave. But when your kids is fucked up, you're like, what are you gonna do? Like either
Some
you,
parents leave.
yeah,
Some parents really just like, you know?
yeah, either you leave or you have to accept them. Like that's the two choices, right? Obviously, I went and told this theory to my cousin, and he's like, nobody thinks that deep like about it, like I was like, yeah, like people don't think about it, but then subconsciously it still help them to sympathize with others. Like if your kids piss you off all day and they do some some things to hurt you, then wouldn't you be like, even my kids would hurt me this much? If a stranger does some fucked up shit to me, then it's like only natural. It's like they're strangers, like.
Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Because they're not part of your circle or whatever. That's like growing up with a sibling, though. Like, sometimes I love my brother, I grew
Here
up
you
with
go.
him, all this stuff. Sometimes I just want to, like, like he just gets on my nerves. Like, why are you like that?
Mm.
So,
So you think having a sibling is similar to having kids?
well, like with the age gap between me and my brother, sometimes it feels like that, but like, no.
Do you
I
think
mean,
you
like,
have a completely feeling and dynamic toward having a sibling if your brother was older than you instead?
I mean, I would probably be more, hmm, yeah, it's different. I feel like the older ones gets it the worst because they're the oldest. Like they get into shit all the time for no reason, and then the younger one just gets away with everything.
No, it depends on the family.
I guess so.
Also, like, also in your family, there are only two kids, like including you. So that's a
Hmm.
different thing too. There's only older and younger. For family that have like 5 kids, 6 kids, there's not just older and younger. It's like, oldest and the second oldest and the third oldest. Then
Yeah. Usually like with there's middle kids, the middle kids gets it the worst.
yeah, I
I
don't
so
know.
I learned, so I heard,
It's
I don't know.
because my
But
mom has five, like including my mom, and my dad has like three, including my dad. And it's all different. And I've seen
mm,
my other people, other like uncles, the unrelated uncles who have like different number of siblings, and like there isn't really the clearest pattern on like, the oldest always has the hardest, or the youngest has the best, or you know.
I guess a different perspective. Because some maybe the younger ones think that the older ones gets it the best because they get to make decisions and all this stuff. And then maybe the younger ones think that they have no say in anything because I've been told that too. I've been on the other side of that. So
But when you hang out with other people, well, I guess you don't have it. You don't have any like cousins or anybody that's older than you.
I have a few cousins that are older than me, but no, not really. I'm like one
So
of the
you
older
you
ones.
essentially never had experience hanging out with the older like family member that's in your generation. So you don't know what that's gonna like.
Not really, not too
Mhm.
much. Yeah. And if I do, like, we don't really talk about things like this.
Yeah. Also, you
It's
probably
pretty shallow.
don't hang out enough time, like
Yeah.
long enough to get into conflicts and arguments and things like that. Like
Well,
if you
and with
live
my hmm?
if you live under the same roof, you're gonna get into arguments. So the, when you get more arguments with your brother, it doesn't necessarily mean you like disagree with him more than other people just because you spend the most time with. Like, did you know that during the pandemic, everybody is forced to quarantine inside, and it was uh,
Yeah.
the highest divorce rate.
Yeah.
Everybody was getting divorced because nobody can stay in the same roof for too long.
Yeah, I just find that like a little bit weird in a way because like you've married them, like you're with them. Why could you not make it work out type of thing? Mind you, everyone's again different, but I just found that interesting.
When they got married, they married a different person. What?
Probably. People
Yeah,
change, people grow,
yeah,
or people grow apart.
yeah. And also, it's like imagine, imagine, like if you married someone who's has a proper job and has a good standing in society and all these things, and because of pandemic, they're cutting people, and then he lost his job. Now he's just staying at home eating ice cream all day, you know. And like then on top of that, you have your financial pressures, and you're just getting into arguments all the time. It's just, yeah, it's a different thing.
That's true too.
But anyways, when I said God slash nature, did you cringe?
No, why would I cringe?
Because you always say, "Oh, you're not even religious. Why talk about God?"
Oh, like I get what you're trying to say. I get like the message that you're trying to convey. So that's why I'm not cringing too much
Right. Let
because
me
that's
let
more
me
relatable.
yeah, let me explain to both you and the audience.
Oh, here we go.
I thought about this a little bit too.
I think you think about these things a lot.
Yes, since I
Mm,
was young, I always thought about like, is there a God? What's the meaning to life and all of these things. But I always say I not always say, but like this is the stance I always had, is I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And if you ask people who say that, each person is going to give you a different answer. And if you ask
I
me,
think,
yeah,
mhm.
go ahead.
I think that you kind of have to give some context here though, because you were Buddhist.
Well, it's been a long time ago as a kid.
Yeah,
And when I didn't know what religion was too.
but that's your roots.
I guess.
Are we really going into religion here for
Yeah.
our first podcast?
Yeah, that's the two. This is the good trailer for what's to come. You know, some deep
Oh,
shit.
shit. Here we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to go into religion here. I'm just trying to explain. Also, this is related to what I said earlier.
Okay, spiritual. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought about it, and like if you asked me 2 years ago, what do you mean by spiritual? I wouldn't even know. But recently, I realized when I said I think genuine human connection is a big part of meaning of life. And then I realized the difference for me personally is religion. If I was a religious, my guiding principle would to seek connection and approval from God. And when I'm spiritual, I can feel the same thing. I can still feel like spiritual and elevated and like something cannot be explained by science. But the difference is I more so seek those things from each other. But by each other, it doesn't only mean humans, but it also from the environment, but then it's like things on Earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know, like, let's say if you stand on the edge of the ocean and you just see the wave crashing on the shore,
Mm-hmm.
you get like a kind of feeling. And
Yeah,
I believe that feeling is real, and that's a spiritual feeling. And then it's you kind of connecting with nature. And I
yeah,
believe that's real, and that's what I seek. And I
yeah.
seek genuine connection with nature, with humans, with all of this. I don't see connection or approval from God. So that's the difference between religious and spiritual for me.
I think that like that feeling that you're describing is just being present. At least for me, like if I am just at the ocean, like and I'm just like being present, like I'm just in the moment and I'm just taking it all in and I'm just, in a way reflecting.
You
I
know,
don't really know where I was going with that, but I just feel like it's a feeling. I don't know how else to
yeah,
explain that.
there's a joke before with God is I'm gonna butcher this joke. I don't remember exactly, but the gist of it is somebody lived a miserable life and they couldn't wait to go to heaven. And at the end, they died. They went to heaven and they talked to God, and then they were like, "Oh God, can you provide me with somewhere like I can do anything I want? I have like all the resources and like that's basically he's describing the heaven like people were thinking of." And then God was like, "I put you in heaven for the past 70 years, but you were miserable the whole time. You just
Mm,
wasted it." So basically saying like Earth is heaven. Like if you don't like instead of wasting your time and life on this earth and expecting something better will happen after you die, just treasure the present time and live it to the fullest. And
mm,
that's what I believe. Like whether there's heaven or God or any of those things afterwards or not, I don't know. But then all I know is whether there is or there isn't, the best thing to do is to live your life on this earth the best you could.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Also,
you
yeah,
mhm.
go.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, it's like I also thought about this too, right? If humans, according to the Bible, humans are made out of God's image, then why do we seek human connection so much? Like to me, one of the biggest things is genuine connection with others. If I become the most powerful, the smartest person in the world, but I'm alone in the universe, then what's the point? So if I feel like this and I'm made from God's image, then God should feel like this too. But God is alone. God is by himself. Like, it doesn't make much sense to me. But anyways.
I was like raised Catholic, and like God and the like Jesus, like we are his children, so they are not alone, or he is not alone.
Yeah, but he's not
You know what I'm saying?
connecting. But he doesn't have any genuine connection with anybody. Just like I said, like if I was like all powerful and all the smartest, but I'm like alone, doesn't mean like there's nothing else, but alone meaning like there's no one can understand me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then I wouldn't feel like there's any meaning to life. If God's is designed the same way I am, then God should feel like there's no meaning to life either. But anyways,
I had something to say about that, and then I just totally lost it. So
yeah, it's okay. So yeah, you mentioned that was in Buddhism. Do you have any questions about that, or should we just move on? I don't know.
yeah, because you're an extreme dude. Like, you're pretty extreme going into Buddhism, and now you're a different kind of extreme.
When I was in, I probably wouldn't even call it Buddhism.
What is it called then?
Like, I was like a vegan.
You were
I
a
was
monk. You
I
still
was
are a monk.
I was a vegan before vegan was a trend, you know. You know how like now vegan are like, oh, they look at the animals are suffering, like we shouldn't eat them and all these things.
Hmm.
That's how I thought when I was a kid, and I became a vegetarian for a year. And but the main drive for me was seeing the sufferings of animals and the cruelties, and I just didn't think it was right. And I was like, we're all animals, why would I eat you? Like, you know, and all of these things. And rather than anything religious, it wasn't really Buddha's teaching that, like, when back then or even now, people tend to give more meaning or like hold things you don't understand higher. So in China, people read these I don't know what you call it, Bible. I guess the Buddhism's version of Bible, but then it's all in what's it called, Hindu maybe, I don't know, but it's like old
In
ancient,
China?
yes, again, old ancient Indian writing, because Buddhism came from India.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it's like nobody understands. They're just pronouncing shit like, you know,
Wait,
like,
Buddhism came from India?
yeah.
But Buddhists have like,
Didn't
they're
see
like
them wearing the
bald.
sandals.
Yeah, yeah. But then they're like bald and all of that, no?
Well, anybody can be bald. What the hell? Joe Rogan can be bald. What the
Never mind.
hell?
Never mind.
Anyways, let's bring it back to reality. Let's reflect on the past 2 years. Like when you think, like when somebody like mentioned the past 2 years, or when you think back and like what do you feel, and what's are like the noticeable things that you know you see, and what changes have you had, and all of these things. Just reflect.
Last 2 years has been so weird because of COVID. Firstly, like I think everyone will probably feel that way. And just like a different way of living life. But even before COVID, I don't know. I don't know. There's like a lot that happened. It's a weird because like it didn't feel like it was like that long ago, but then there's so many changes that I just feel like it's like a lifetime ago now. Is that weird?
No, these 2 years, I feel both the world has pivoted to a different
Oh, the
direction.
connection is gone.
Oh, it's okay. You're still here with us.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it was gone. Oh no, like
I think in the past 2 years, both the world has pivoted to a different direction than where it was going, and my life has pivoted to a different direction than where I was going. So, which is
your life, yours and I.
it's pretty profound.
Hmm.
But that I'm trying to hear your side first. Like what happened?
What happened? Like this happened, you
I'm
happened.
trying to give you more airtime here.
I know, like, case, let's just pause for a moment because I feel like you've really thought of like what you were gonna say, and I'm just blank right now. Like,
No, this is how I would answer you if you ask me in the car, like out of nowhere. What do you mean?
really? I
Yeah,
feel like I'm just blanking out. Like, shit's making me nervous.
because you're staring at yourself too much.
I'm
Switch
not,
it
I'm
to me.
staring at you. Like, this is you, this is me,
Yeah,
and I'm staring at you.
just forget about that. You're talking to me. Like,
I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of people because they're gonna watch it later, and I'm just like, oh shit. Anything I say or do will be held against me.
no, but
This right here's my reputation. It's my career now.
no, like I said to you before, it's like we want to do this as if like just us talking.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to address the whole internet and like preach to them or anything. Just like we are talking, and if other people find it valuable, then they do. If they don't, they don't, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
Like
relaxing.
really.
And if anything, if it really you didn't like it, we don't have even to post it. But then if you restrict yourself to be free, then all of the episode would be shit. But if
Yeah.
you be free and just say things, maybe like 20% will be shit, then we don't post that 20%. But 80% will be good.
Fuck. Okay.
And also we're not talking about like I'm not holding you to be like, oh, is there a God? No, I'm asking you about your life. What happened to past 2 years?
So the last 2 years? Hey, well, the last 2 years has been like a big thing would be like graduating finally. Okay, Patrick BET talked about this too. What's his name? Okay, the valuetainment guy talked about this thing, like finishing things. Like if you start something, you have to finish it. And I felt like that was school for me. I started school and, I kind of wanted to leave at one point because I'm like, oh, I like my job and I'm, doing what I want to do at this tech company. And then I was like, no, I started school. I need to finish it because that would be always looming over me. So that was a big thing that I feel like changed because I finished school. But then with COVID, I'm like, okay, I can't go back into the tech industry, or at least I
No,
didn't attempt
hold
to.
on, hold on.
Like I'm really going off now.
No, hold on. But after you graduated, how did it change your thinking? Did it change your thinking at all, or you're just like, oh, now that's over, I'm just gonna keep doing what I was planning?
I think the only thing that really changed the way I thought about things is like when I didn't have school anymore, I wish that I could have applied more of what I learned. You know what I mean? Like I wish I was just more about the learning part instead of like I just want to pass this course. Like it's not about that. Like school isn't about just I just want to pass the course. It's about okay, how are you going to use this in your daily life or in your career later on if you even choose to be in the same career. Um
Do you think you will
like
ever have realized that if you never graduated? Like,
Probably, but it would be like difficult because then it would just be looming over my head like,
so mostly the graduation was the trigger for you to understand that.
yeah.
Mm, okay. And then afterwards, what happened?
Are you feeling some type of way? I don't know. Just being with you is like it's interesting in itself. Like I never thought that I would be with you. Is that weird? Well, like, no, that's fully weird because we went to school together. And then, I don't know, I just never thought that I would, or even that you would be interested in me, like, or like, would, like,
We'll let the internet decide.
oh God.
we'll,
Yeah, it's just like,
we'll do a Twitter poll like Elon Musk.
oh, geez,
No, I'm
I'm not
joking.
giving
Yeah,
up $500,000.
I'm not on Twitter.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
But
But,
yeah.
but how like now looking back, where you thought your life was going 2 years ago versus where it has gone, like what's the difference? How did it change?
The biggest thing is probably like you pushing me with my behavior and kind of like just being more critical, being more aware. I felt like before I thought that I was aware, like I'm like, I'm pretty aware, all this stuff. But then now looking back or seeing the growth that I've gone through, it's so different. Like I never thought that I would grow as much as I have grown personally than I have.
But not much. Like for example, before I graduated in 2019, I thought the next few years will play out in a way that I graduate and I find a good job and I learn something and I get promoted. And I thought like jobs like, I don't know, in banking or whatever, like these professional institutions are the legit jobs. Being a YouTuber is just like a side thing for people who can't find job, who don't have education and things like that. And now
Mhm.
in the past 2 years, that's completely flipped on its head. Now I feel like all these professional people are outdated, and the
Yeah, a little
YouTubers
bit.
are the cool people, and the Zoom meetings are the actual meetings. The in-person meetings are outdated. Things like this. It's like
Mhm.
how the world is completely shifted for me. But did
I
that
think, yeah.
similar thing happen to you?
Yeah, like my approach is different towards that stuff too. That's why I didn't have too much of a sense of urgency just going to apply to places because I knew I kind of had a good idea what corporate would be like. And so now I flipped, and originally I thought I would go back into corporate. But now I'm like, okay, like I actually want to start looking into startups and like the tech companies that are like breaking into new ventures, as
Mm.
risky as I think it's like risky because you don't know what they're going to build. Now I'm like fired up about, oh, like if you don't know what they're going to build, they're probably doing something different than what all the other conventional corporations have been doing, and they're going to change the industry up, which we've seen even in just like biotech, for example, in the last year or two. Biotech has been like booming in a way. People don't know what it's about and they're breaking patterns.
Also, another big change with me that happened is what
Sorry.
what happened.
You're like, yeah. Anyways, with me.
Yeah, no, we're just talking about like how the past 2 years changed this.
Mhm,
I'm trying to see if like you connect with my change,
mhm.
so it gets more of your reactions and stuff since you can't come up with anything. So another
I
thing,
like, I'm like so awkward right now. Like, I feel like the whole internet's watching me.
yeah, that's good. It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking scared.
yeah, another person who's aspired to do something they're scared of and they feel as awkward as you and might, get inspired by you and try it too. When you see all this like YouTubers and like TV hosts or whatever, they all like all prepared, they all hit the mark and all of these things. It's like I don't know. It's like, it made me all feel both like, oh, that's not for me, and also it's like, oh, they're kind of fake.
Mm.
It's when people like JK News and people like, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head right now, but some YouTubers, they fuck it up, you know, they scared, they bleed, they whatever, and they put it all online. And that made me feel like, oh, they're real people, they're kind of like me. Now I can do this too. And I feel proud to represent like fully who I am. Like I can never see myself as a, what do you call it, late night host. Like that's too fake. It's just like, you know, it's just, even Lily Singh, you know,
Yeah.
Lily Singh, the Indian girl, she got a late night show and it completely flopped. But when she did YouTube, it was like really, really good because she was being herself. She's like winging it, making fun of herself, fucking it up, being vulnerable. Yeah, when she went on late night show and started doing all types of written jokes, and it's just, yeah, it's not good. Yeah. Anyways, so COVID really brought the concept of death close to me. Like in the beginning, now I don't worry about COVID anymore. But in the beginning, because I'm double vax.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the beginning, when nobody knows this thing could kill anybody, I was like any moment I could die from like touching a door handle, you know, eating a burger or whatever. I'm like, oh shit, like when you're young, you think you're invincible. You never think about like, oh, I could die tomorrow, you know, and that really made me realize all of the things I've been chasing is just trying to solve a problem. And like I'm not chasing them because I'm excited for the future. I'm just trying to do those things so I can have less and less problems. Like for example, like I always wanted to make money. And then when death becomes imminent, you're like, fuck, I spent my whole life just trying to make money so that I can live, I can be able to buy food to live, but then I'm gonna die anyway. What the fuck did I do that for? You know? So then instead, now I'm starting to shift my mindset into thinking, what's the value I can create? What's the mark I can leave? And like, if I die tomorrow, what would I most regret not leaving behind? And like, there's so many things, but then the most valuable thing I think is like basically my thought process. Like whether good or bad, like you were earlier, you were like, oh, I like even before that, before the podcast started, you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should do that. And now you're like, oh, I'm doing it, it feels awkward. To maybe 5 episodes down, you're like, oh, I like it. Or 100 episodes down, you're like, oh, now I'm bored of this. Like this whole evolution of the thought process is very valuable, I think. And in no other time in history where people can record their thought process and the evolution of their thought process like this.
Yeah.
And because I've read a lot of books about like people's lives, but then it's all like them remembering when they're like 70, 80 years old, when they remember, oh, when I was 5, I did this and that. But how do you really know? Like, you know, you don't remember. You just like remember a couple things that are stand out. But now it's like completely, if I'm being honest, transparent, and vulnerable with you, with my thinking process, then it's like completely, just like a complete me. And if the ideal situation is people can take that and draw value from it, even if they can't, I'll be proud one day when I die, my kids can have a record of a complete like thought process of who their dad was, like good and bad and ugly, the emotional, the vulnerable, you know, all of these things, rather than like you don't have to answer this question, but like really how well do you know your dad? You know what I'm saying? Like if someone were to write a book about your dad, but they can only talk to you about your dad, they will get very incomplete picture of it. So then like that's kind of sad that like as much as I can talk to my kids and all of these things, they still wouldn't get a complete picture of who I am, and like, you know, so yeah.
As much
Another
as you
reason
talk
why I want to
about,
do YouTube.
huh?
Another reason why I want to do YouTube.
Hmm. But
Yeah.
like as much as you talk about kids, would you want your kids to be on YouTube?
No, no, when not when they're young.
Why?
And at least for like what I know now. In the future, I might change, but from what I know now is I never been on any type of media, including even like I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook, I don't have any of that, Instagram, whatever. And I think it's really benefited me. And
Yeah.
now being now being on YouTube, I think I'm more solid than most people on YouTube. Not because I'm better than them, but because I built my own foundation in an isolated place.
Hmm.
Like it's sort of like imagine if you're a kid and you never played outside on a playground. You only played virtual games. Then you would like you wouldn't understand how like what falling feels like, what like an argument with other kids is like, and all of these things. And also back to what I said earlier about one of the biggest problems I see with humanity is drama gets the most attention and negativity gets the most attention. Before, if you're a kid and you get bullied, you have to hear another 3 kids talking shit about you. Now you get to hear 3,000 kids talk shit about you, and it doesn't stop. When you wake up, first thing you check is your phone, you see people talking shit. Before you go to sleep, you check your phone, it's people talking shit. It can be when you're a kid, you're growing, like you're trying to form what the world is like in your head. Because now I know I'm like 29, basically, right? For the past 29 years, I've lived in a world, like the real world, basically.
Yeah.
And now if something were to happen on YouTube, people ban me, people talk shit about me, they give me thumbs down and all these things. It will affect me, but it wouldn't affect me to the core because all my life is built around reality. And then I understand this is virtual and this is people act differently. Like some people who are like extremely nice people when you meet with them in real life, but then when they get off work or whatever, they because of the pressure to go online to talk shit to release themselves. Like I understand all these things, and that's why I'm even able to go on YouTube. If you asked me 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't want to be on YouTube, and B, I don't think I would be able to handle YouTube.
Yeah. I think that's like a big part of my thing, and that's why I keep saying like personal growth and personal development, because I don't think I ever would put myself in this position and like put myself out there before knowing how I handle things and how I react to things. And but now, I mean, like I just kind of don't care. Maybe it's just a maturity thing too. Like I've been through so many different situations with different people, and get their reaction to me and like all of that stuff. So
Yeah, like if you look at all the people who grew up on the internet, they all fucked up. Like even like it's rare for them to become like okay, and that's after fucking up so many times and they revamp themselves many times. And like Logan Paul talk about this, like, but you see them how they are now, you don't remember what they did. You look at Kim Kardashian, oh, that's a glamorous woman, it's successful, has money. You don't remember what happened when she was her nude was like leaked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
nude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Logan Paul. Logan Paul, like did a suicide. He went to Japan and
Oh yeah, shit, that
yeah,
was serious
saw someone suicide, and all he thought was that was good
content.
content.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's how fucked up he was, and people don't remember these things. But
Yeah.
when I see a person just like how I described to you, I want to put the evolution of thought process of me online, that's who I truly am. I'm not just me today. I'm not me yesterday. I'm not me tomorrow. The whole process is me. And
Yeah.
so when I see these celebrities and people who grew up on internet, I see their whole evolution, whole process, and that's who they are. I'm like, I don't want my kids to go through that. And they're lucky that they figure out a way to revamp themselves. How many people did it? How many people celebrity you see? Like you only see like Michael Jackson and whoever, all these celebrities when they're in their prime. How many of them do you see people interviewing them when they're 70? When there's all fucked up, all coked up, skin are fucked up. Like there's suicide, there's like yeah.
Michael Jackson had a condition, no?
Yeah, but it just,
Anyways.
but the point is like their lives are all fucked up.
Yeah.
And and the programming is stronger than ever. Like before, people debate about the truth. Now you just pick your truth. There's a big enough corner on the internet for whatever you want to believe it. You want to believe in vaccine, you can find enough evidence to show vaccine works.
Yeah.
If you want to find it, the conspiracy theory that says vaccine don't work, you can find enough of that. And I don't want I don't want to leave the growth and the forming of the worldview of my kids to the luck of internet. Because I don't want them to look something up and then fall into a rabbit hole to look something more and more wrong, and that's what they believe now. And you can't even, like, as a parent, you can't even convince them out of it. Like, what do you know, Dad? That's the internet. Google says.
So
like, based on Google, no.
So you didn't grow up in North America. You didn't grow up here. You kind of did.
Big China.
Okay, China boy. So you learned about social media though. I'm sure like when you went to high school, everyone's on Facebook and whatever,
No.
and they asked you.
No.
No?
There's China always banned all things from North America, essentially.
Okay, but like when you came here, you were surrounded with people who had Facebook.
Oh, you're talking about in Canada?
Yeah. Like you were here and then people would be like, hey, yo, like, Lee, what's your Facebook? Let me add you on Facebook. My friend thinks you're cute.
No.
But like,
first of all,
I don't have social media.
I didn't hang out with many people. And secondly, nobody really asked. Like they mentioned it. They mentioned, oh, I see this person on YouTube and I mean, not YouTube, Facebook, and talk to them on Facebook, but no one asked me like, what's your Facebook?
Interesting. Or I guess they tried to look for you and you didn't have anything. Or did anyone ever ask you like why you didn't have social media back then? Like, come on, get social media, like we'll tag you, whatever.
No, I think we just grew up in this different neighborhood or something. But
shit.
But like most people I was hanging out with didn't really have social media. I don't like they had social media, but they weren't on it like that. They weren't like tagging each other and all that. I don't even know what that means today. Like,
how are you so secure in yourself to not have social media or to not, do what the kids are doing and whatnot?
Well, I guess in a way is me being secure in myself. In another way is I never see the need of it because grew up in China, we never had anything like that. And like even WeChat is developed like recently. When I grew up, there was no WeChat. And so then if I grew up, I came here when I was like 17. So all 17 years, I never needed it. It's difficult for me to all of a sudden see the need in it. And also on top of that, it's mostly fun because you're looking at all the people that you know. It's like a network. I come here, I don't know anybody. So it's like, imagine if your Facebook, you want to have 2 friends, you wouldn't want to be on there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, because you see them in person.
Yeah, so like I only had a few friends, and we had phone numbers, and then we just call each other and come out to hang out.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that I like really admire about you, is just not being on social media, like, and you're just like not the type to like flex, like, or like you're just not the type to do that. You're so low key. Like, why are you so low key?
Um,
Like, is it a personality thing? Is it like you've gone through so much you don't even care? Like, how'd you get to that point?
like define low key. What do you mean?
Low key, like in a room of people, you're not out there being like boisterous and like, you know, catch my attention and all that. You're not in the corner either, but you're like, I don't know how to explain it. You're just not, you don't want to be the center of attention. You don't need to be the center of attention. Like, you don't have the inclination to be like, oh yeah, like I'm the one who run the show here.
Yeah, I never liked interactions. And before, I think I thought it's because I'm an introvert. But now, like at the beginning of the video, I said, now I feel like it's because I don't feel genuine connection with people. That's why I don't like the interactions.
Mm.
Now thinking back, that's probably the case. It's like I talk to people too, but then like after 2, 3 sentences, I'm like, this is not the type of like people who have my type of mindset. I don't connect. And then I get bored, and I just don't want to like hold a conversation anymore. And then when that happens enough times, I would just like, it's like I don't even need to try. Like before talking to someone, I already determined, oh, they're not gonna be
Yeah.
my type of people. Like, what's
So
the
you're
point?
just really selective in who you engage with. Like, you also don't care if you're liked or not. You're a huge asshole. Like, you literally don't give a fuck.
Do we have to put that on the internet though?
I think it's important.
based on what you guys see from my mukbang, I'm pretty likable guy, right?
I mean, you choose your times, sure.
My jokes are pretty good.
Blue, blue, blue,
Blue, blue, blue.
blue.
For those of you who don't know what the reference is, go to watch mukbang number 4. Yeah. So, what was your question? You just enjoy saying that I'm an asshole too much. You got
Yeah, a little bit, because now I just lost where I am, but
yeah. Oh, you're saying I don't care if people like me or not.
yeah, you just don't. You like don't care. I'm like, okay, like this dude doesn't like you, or like, so and so doesn't think you're that great, or well, not that I would know, but like, you know what I mean? Like, why do you not care?
Well, because if I don't like interaction with people, and all when other people don't like me, all that comes with is less interactions, then why would I bother me?
Mm-hmm.
It's like imagine you don't like spicy food, and all the people who love spicy food hate you. Would you care?
No.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, I wasn't gonna try to get spicy food anyway. So it's like all these people who don't like me, I'm like, those are not the type of people I want to talk to anyway. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, only now I understood that. I used to be like, oh, like, why do you not like me? Like, why? But now I'm just like, that's cool. I like me.
to be honest, for those of you who I don't like, not to hurt your feelings, but I'm glad.
Whoa.
It's really hard to find people that you can genuinely connect with. And like I cannot like interview each one deeply to find that person. And it will be a great help for me if they view me and then they're like, that's not my type of people, and then they dislike me and walk away. It makes my like selection way easier. Like I appreciate that. Like
Damn.
like I don't like the people who like inside they don't like me and then they think I'm weird or whatever, and then but then try to be cordial, try to be nice, and they still like keep some type of contact. And like that's like, I think that's way worse for both of us. Like you're just, they like, you know, oh, like, you know how the type of people who's like, oh, we should get together sometime. They always say that at the end, and then you never hear from them.
Yeah,
like that type of people, I'm like, like I'd rather you say like, you know, I like, I'm gonna go to US, like you won't see me again. I'd be like, cool, you know. Yeah.
Do you think it's a like,
it's like
in
on
a
Tinder,
way?
you know?
I don't know. I've never been on Tinder.
Oh,
I
then
don't even know how these kids date nowadays.
okay, I'll teach you. Don't worry. So on Tinder,
You'll
right?
teach me. You've been on Tinder?
No, I never been on Tinder. But I heard people swipe left and right, right? And then they will only show you the person if you match, like both of you like each other or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the same idea. Like the other person swipe you, I don't know which one is a rejection, but if the other person's like rejected you, to you that's a favor, because you don't have to put more like time and energy and all of these things into it. So like imagine on Tinder, if you are on Tinder and every person you come across likes you, how difficult like would that be? You know, like you have to pick one person from 100. But if 90 people rejected you, only 10 people liked you, then you only need to pick one from the 10. So it's like doing you a favor, helping you to select. So I appreciate that. If you figure out you're not my type of people, cut me off like clean real quick, I appreciate that. That's the way to go. Yeah, and research has shown, which I think is even less, but research has shown you can really have a meaningful understanding of someone's life, like not someone's life, but like keep a meaningful connection with someone, like keep up with their life. You can only have 100 people. If you have 1,000 friends on your Facebook, chances are 900, at least 900 of them, you don't know what the fuck is going on with them. And I think that number is even less, because for me, keeping up with 3-5 people's lives is already hard enough. Like the closest person to me outside of my like immediate family, like my parents and stuff, is my cousin. And even then, he tells me things I never even know happened. Like on the Mandarin podcast, I did the podcast with my cousin. And then he was like, oh, last week this happened, and 10 years ago that happened. I'm like, what? I never knew that. So if I can't keep up with one of the closest person to me like that, and like how am I going to keep up with like random strangers and quote unquote friends? And if I don't, then you're just a surface level, like who cares, you know? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
should we wrap this up?
okay, just last question then. I asked my cousin this question. I asked, do you look forward to 2022?
Yes.
Oh, maybe two questions. Just a quick one is, do you feel like time is passing faster? And do you look forward to going into 2022?
For the last few years, did I think that time moved faster?
Just in general, because there was a theory I heard on YouTube. They said the older you get, time passes faster. Like when you're 5 years old, you feel like 1 year is so long. And when you're 30, it's like a lot faster. And when you're 60, it's way faster.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way.
Yeah.
It like hit me like, yeah, during COVID or after I graduated. or even like before that, before I was graduating, I felt like, oh shit, like 3 months passed by. That was so quick. And then the last 2 years like flew right by me. It was a blur because like a lot of things happened, but then also when did it happen? Like it just all happened at once, you know? But moving forward, I feel like because I kind of know what I want to do and whatnot, like I kind of feel like it's slower. But also I don't know, it's twofold. Like it depends on like what the topic is. Then I would think that like time is going by really slow and then time is going by really fast. Do I look forward to 2022? Yes, like a lot. I think that I just want to like move forward with life, move forward with everything, move forward from 2021. Like it's been such a drag.
What do you hate about 2021?
I think just uncertainty, like just with COVID. It's like, okay, we're going back to work. Ah, just kidding. We're not going back to work, you know? Or like the fitness studios are open. Actually, let me take that back. It's not like, oh, you're just getting fit now. Like we'll put that on hold, you know? So
Yeah, yeah. I feel the
things like
same
that.
way.
Yeah, or even just eating at restaurants. Like it was weird. At one point, we couldn't even get in and eat. Everyone had to, take out. And then I don't know. It's just, that's not the life I want to live.
Yeah, I feel like 2 years ago when COVID first happened, the world took a step back.
Yeah.
And then this year, 2021, is when the world is like sort of confused. They're like looking left and right and like trying to figure out where to go. And next year is probably the world start moving again, moving forward again.
Yeah.
Also in my personal life too, there's like so many things that I look forward to that I never had.
Your personal life.
Yeah. Like just starting the YouTube thing, just starting, and then we're making merch, we're designing the brand, and all these things just like flare up a little bit. Like it's like sort of seeing my having a vision, but it's translucent. And now I see the what do you call it? Like the shadow of it now. And I
Yeah.
and I can't wait for it to become vivid and has color and all of that.
Yeah. I think that's like another thing too, is that I'm finally like I'm working on things that I want to work on that I don't have to be forced to do. Like this is something that I'm taking initiative on, you know?
What thing? Wait, hold on, hold on, hold on. What thing are you referring to?
What do you
Anyways,
know?
uh, anyway, so for any of you listening, if you have any questions or any topic you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments or email me. I think on my channel they can see my email. I'm not
I
sure.
really don't know, but
Yeah, but email me
DM.
if you can find the email, comment, say you can't find my email, I'll figure out a way to give it to you. But anyways, the point is,
Or you can just like in the drop down menu below.
I don't want to like publicly put out my email if you're gonna start, you know,
Oh,
adding it.
I see.
Yeah, only subscribers, okay? Yeah, show proof that you're a subscriber. um, yeah, so I think by now you guys can tell that this is freestyle. We talk about whatever we can think of. So any topic you guys want us to talk about,
Yeah, keep it interesting for us.
we will make sure we talk about it. Um, that's it. Do you have any last words for the viewers, audience, listeners,
No,
subscribers?
let's just wrap up 2021. Have a good New Year's Eve and have an even better New Year's.
Yeah, actually, I said that on my Chinese podcast. Is I wish all of you. Uh, what did I say? Oh yeah, I wish all of you a happy new year, and I wish that you can also find something for you to look forward to in 2022.
Hey.
So, what's my slogan? You don't know? Don't be normal. Be yourself. And I will see you guys next episode. Bye bye.